enhancing tripartite partnership for pushing private sector forward. National seminar in Sohar discusses bridging the gap between education and industry for future generations. And plans to complete broadband home internet services covering various governorates of the Sultanate, and the service subscribers exceeded 300,000. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. The Sultanate condemned the twin blasts in the Afghan capital, Kabul, which led to a number of casualties and injuries. In a statement issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Sultanate reassured its firm stance in denying all forms and types of violence and terrorism, whatever motives and reasons. The Sultanate, represented by General Federation of Oman's trade union, participate world countries in marking International Labor Day, which falls on the 1st of May every year. The Sultanate celebrates this day while focusing its attention on the private sector in order to increase its contribution to the Sultanate gross domestic product and create job opportunities for Omani youth. The 1st of May is considered a golden opportunity to celebrate achievements of workers in the private sector in addition to their active role in building the economy in various world countries. General Federation of Oman Trade Union, and on this special occasion, announced on two competitions. The first competition relates to the best establishment in celebrating World Labor Day. The second one relates to photography. The Public Authority for Social Insurance also celebrated this day and World Day for Health and Safety at Work. The authority, through this ceremony, aims to promote health, safety, and environment culture and the importance of preventing occupational accidents. The National Symposium on Education and Industry was organized in the Governorate of North al-Batina. It discussed ways to fill the gap between the outcome of the educational institutions and the industrial sector. It also aimed at studying all factors that lead to improvement of education, such as to provide the sector with well-qualified cadres. The symposium also sought to exchange experience on production initiatives and discuss ways to develop the skills of students to meet the needs of the labor market. In order to raise awareness among craft projects owners about various aspects of intellectual property and ways to mechanism to register trademarks and industrial models, the Public Authority for Craft Industry organized a forum on intellectual property. It aimed to stress the importance of intellectual property rights and its role in protecting all types of creativity. During the forum, the authority announced the establishment of a committee to study the applications of the intellectual property for craft products. State Audit Institution organized a workshop for applying model for analyzing crisis. The three-day workshop discussed a number of aspects such as showing model of analyzing crisis, mechanism of determining importance for concerned bodies and topics, preparing 5 years and annual check-in plans, applications of modified model for analyzing crisis, in addition to conduct practical application of model of analyzing crisis for a number of members of the State Audit Institution. The workshop was presided over by His Excellency Sheikh Nasser bin Hilal bin Nasser al-Ma'wali, Chairman of the State Audit Institution. Enriching society with most important contemporary issues and benefiting from Omani scientific expertise, top aspects of knowledge of economy, challenges and opportunities lecture. The lecture discussed introducing knowledge economy, its start and development, in addition to witness transformation in the current economy. The lecture clarified the vision on transformation from economy that depended on oil and gas to an economy that is built on knowledge through empowering partnership between government and private sectors. Still to come in our news bulletin. Aiming at developing the level of Omani talents as to compete at international level, the third Omani Skills Competition is organized at the Occupational College in Sib. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas addressed the Palestine Liberation Organization PLO Parliament in Ramallah today, the first time the body had met for a full session since the 1990s. Abbas said that the Palestinian national dream would be in danger if the council had failed to convene. Abbas told hundreds of delegates that is restricting to his rejection of any U.S. proposal for an Israeli-Palestinian peace deal following the Trump administration's recognition in December of contested Jerusalem as Israel's capital and a decision to move the U.S. embassy there in mid-May. The meeting of the PLO parliament comes at a time of deep divisions between Abbas and his domestic rival Hamas that controls the Gaza Strip. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe met his Jordanian counterpart Hani al-Mulki in the Jordanian capital Amman today. The two countries signed an agreement for Japan to fund $15.3 million waste recycling project in the north of Jordan, where hundreds of thousands of Syrian refugees live. Jordan hosts more than 1.3 million Syrian refugees. More than 650,000 of them are registered with the UN Refugee Agency, UNHCR. Abe is accompanied on his visit to the Middle East by a delegation of CEOs from major Japanese companies. Ambassadors from the United Nations Security Council flew by helicopter today to the epicenter of the crisis over Myanmar's Rohingya population. They made the trip to gather information about what led to the mass exodus of around 700,000 people to Bangladesh last year. Officials are expected to show them the aftermath of the military crackdown in northern Rakhine state, as well as the government's preparation for taking the refugees back, which include newly built reception centers. The army launched counter-insurgency sweeps in Rakhine after attacks last August on security personnel. Bangladesh and Myanmar agreed in December to begin repatriating the refugees in January, but there were concerns among aid workers and Rohingya that they would be forced to return and face unsafe conditions in Myanmar. An abandoned high-rise building occupied by squatters in downtown Sao Paulo in Brazil caught fire and collapsed today, sending chunks of fiery debris crashing into neighboring buildings and surrounding streets. Firefighters said at least one person had been killed in the collapse, that there could be more. The building, a former federal police headquarters, caught fire around 1:30 a.m. local time. Firefighters set up a perimeter and worked to evacuate people. A pair of pelicans crashed a graduation ceremony at the Pepperdine University in California beachfront community of Malibu over the weekend. The long-beaked birds flew on Saturday as the class of 2018 was receiving diplomas outdoors on a lawn overlooking the Pacific Ocean. One of the big birds landed among seated observers who managed to toss it back into the air only to have it land on a red carpet at the center of the ceremony. The pelican resisted efforts by several men to get it to move along. It finally waddled away. Back to some more local news. A new batch of Omani recruits will start training at Sultan Qaboos Academy for Police Sciences in Nazwa as part of efforts exerted by Royal Oman Police to employ citizens and spread security in various governorates of the Sultanate. The new batch of recruits are holding general diploma and they will undergo different training programs which will enable them to perform the tasks and duties. They will join Sultan Qaboos Academy after they pass written and sport exams along with interviews. Various academic and training fields between the Sultanate and Egypt top the aspects of Major General Salim bin Musallam Qatan, Commander of National Defense College, with Major General Safwat Sadiq Ibrahim, Director of Nasser Higher Military Academy in Egypt. During the meeting, they exchanged points of view in a number of matters of common concern. The guest was also briefed about National Defense College, its academic program, and its academic and administrative facilities. The Sultanate, represented by the Ministry of Heritage and Culture, celebrated today the International Museum Day, which falls on May 18th of each year. Nazwa Cultural Center hosted the celebration with a variety of activities, including an exhibition of museum collections entitled Museum Outside the Glass. Our reporter Saleh bin Khalfan al-Rahbi has more details in the following report.
Hyper-connected museums, new approaches and new publics is the theme of this year's International Museum Day, where Oman is celebrating this occasion through various events in the various governorates around the Sultanate, starting from Nazwa Cultural Center in the governorate of Al-Dakhiliyah.
So the International Museum Day theme, talking about hyper-connected museums, new approaches and new publics, which means that we need to apply new ways, new approaches to reach new publics, to tell them about the importance of museums.
The number of visitors to museums in the Sultanate last year exceeded 46,000, in a clear indication of the importance of museums to identify the cultural and historical dimensions of the ancient Omani civilization.
Museums are the proper place to conserve the heritage and culture of each country, so the public can see their history through these museums.
Children Museum, Natural History Museum and the Omani French Museum took part at the exhibition, where a collection of taxidermy animals, artifacts and collectibles were displayed. This exhibition was entitled Museum Outside the Glass and included a card in Braille language for the blind. This year's occasion reflects the new direction of museums and the importance of investing in modern technologies to reach the largest segment of the public, especially the youth. Museums are an important means of cultural exchange. This celebration will further increase public awareness of the role of museums and the development of societies. From Nazwa Cultural Center, Saleh bin Khalfan al-Rahbi, Al-Dakhiliyah, Governorate.
The Sultanate is moving toward completing high-speed internet services through using the fiber optic network, which will cover more than 25,000 housing units in the Wilaya of Al-Amirat in the Governorate of Muscat. According to statistics issued by the National Center for Statistics and Information, the number of subscribers to the Internet at Home Wi-Fi exceeds 300,000 in various governorates of the Sultanate. It is worth mentioning that the first integrated satellite receiving station in Oman was built in 1975 in the Wilaya of Amirat, and the first video call was made between the Sultanate and Washington. Telecommunication companies head for expanding fiber optic network in Al-Amirat, which will witness rapid urbanization and population growth. The technical committee concerned about interim mechanism for urban planning in the Ministry of Housing reviewed a number of investment and planning projects. The discussions focus also on the investment projects of economic feasibility and changing uses of a number of planning schemes, in addition to amend heights of residential and commercial planning schemes in a number of the governorates of the Sultanate. The meeting was chaired by His Excellency Engineer Saif bin Amir al-Shaqsi, Under-Secretary of the Ministry of Housing. Dubai Mercantile Exchange DME said that Oman oil price July 2018 delivery today reached $71 and 36 cents. It said the price of Oman oil today rose by $1.22. The average price of Oman oil May 2018 delivery has stabilized at $63.31, thus 30 cents per barrel higher than April 2018 delivery. More than 40 governments and private bodies and more than 100 Omani companies and factories came together to explore and enhance business opportunities at Meet the Buyer event, which was organized by the Public Establishment for Industrial Estate and Oman Convention and Exhibition Center today. The event aimed at enhancing connections between the public and private bodies, boosting cooperation between the two sides, and advancing the sales performance of Omani firms and factories. Local suppliers and officials of government and private sectors procurement departments came under one platform to explore ways of cooperation. Her Highness Sayyida Dr. Muna bint Fahd Al Saeed, Assistant Vice Chancellor for International Cooperation at Sultan Qaboos University, SQU, received a gold medal from Charles University at Czech Republic, a recognition of the strong ties between Charles University and SQU over the years, and her efforts of Her Highness Dr. Muna to establish and sustain cooperation. Her Highness Dr. Muna Al Saeed expressed her appreciation for the recognition given to her for her significant efforts in international cooperation around the world. In this context, she gave a speech highlighting most important achievements of SQU in the past decades in the international arena in all fields. Aiming at developing the level of Omani talents as to compete at international level, the third Omani Skills Competition was organized at the Occupational College in Sib. The competition included technical and artistic skills. Some 50 competitors from all occupational colleges in the Sultanate took part in the contest. The event, organized by the Ministry of Manpower, also seeks to promote technical and occupational education in the society. Fields of the competition included auto technology, electrical installations, air conditions, painting, welding, and decoration works. Sur Nursing Institute has celebrated the students' graduation project inauguration. The event included awareness campaign and mobile phone applications launched, as well as various events activities which will help to have a better medical care. More details in the following report by Sultan bin Saif al-Sarai.
After years of studying and researching, a group of nursing students are presenting their scientific results, which they worked very hard to reach in order to be as a good start for them in the labor market.
This is actually the first time that Sur Nursing Institute holds such event, and we have actually 5 projects, and this all is collectively under 3 themes. We have the sharing, nurturing, and innovating, and we plan to improve better health and better health outcomes in South Turkey Governorate here in Sur.
These graduation projects are considered as a real test for students to show their talents and abilities at innovation and problem solving in their specialization.
Actually, our purpose of our project is to introduce a new and efficient and effective payment system among Sur Polyclinic in healthcare institution, targeting all Omani people who are looking for healthcare services.
Sur Nursing Institute has launched these projects, which presented 3 main topics, namely interactive engagement, sustainability, and innovation by using the latest methods and technologies.
Our graduation project is a mobile application. It's targeting diabetic patients to improve their quality of life.
Entrepreneurship, awareness campaign, communication skills, and new technology utilization were the most important projects in this event. Sultan bin Saif al-Sarai, Wilaya of Sur, South Al-Sharqiyya Governorate.
Now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Clear skies will prevail over the Sultanate with chances of low clouds and fog late at night and early morning over the governorates of South Sharqiyya, Dhofar and Wusta. Winds will be northwesterly light to moderate. Seas will be slight with a maximum wave height of 1 meter. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we enter tonight's news bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Sultanate participates with world countries in marking International Labour Day by enhancing tripartite partnership for pushing private sector forward. National seminar in Sohar discusses bridging the gap between education and industry for the future generations. And plans to complete broadband home internet services covering various governorates of the Sultanate and the service subscribers exceeded 300,000. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studio, thank you for watching and have a lovely night.